It is 5:30 on 7/22/2020, and I'm so happy. I got my tattoo last night. I've been waiting like 8 months for this thing. Oh man, I've been waiting so long, but I finally have it, and there's only like one little thing that's in the way of my happiness on this whole subject is no one could come in with me, and it's because people won't wear their fucking masks, and coronavirus is still a huge problem because people won't wear their masks. Just wear your masks. And if you wear I think it's 80%. If 80% of people wear their masks, this will be over in less than 90 days. And instead, we've been drawing this out for so long, and it's going to keep being drawn out until people wear their masks. Just please, 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 when you're in public, when you're in a busy area, when you're around other people, just wear a mask. That's all I ask. And maybe then I could have had my family with me for my tattoo, but I couldn't. So my first tattoo was all alone. All right, wear a mask. Back to the episode. Welcome to Imaginary Ramblings. I'm Matt.
And I'm Ben.
And this is episode, I'm not sure what it's going to be. We're recording this way in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what have you been into, Benjamin?
I have been playing so much of The Last of Us that I actually just finished it today.
Already?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Honestly, though, game-wise, it was only probably about 25 to 30 hours.
So it's shorter than the first one?
I think so.
Or is that about what the first one was? I don't remember.
Either way, not very long.
Mm-hmm.
But the story, I felt, was very good and very fulfilling.
That's good. I will get it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just behind on games.
Yeah, it happens when you have kids.
Yeah, and I'm not helping myself either.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just bought Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
Nice.
It was only $15, and it's pretty fun. A little simplistic, more so than I remembered. But also, I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm missing something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because, like, one of the stats on your pod racer is cooldown. But I don't know what I'm cooling down. I haven't found a situation where I've needed to cool down.
Your boost, maybe?
Well, I haven't found a way to boost. Let's see.
Yeah,
Oops.
I'm not sure then.
Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see, options. Controls, here we go.
Oh, there you go.
There is a boost.
Okay, so maybe it's that.
I don't feel like I've seen it happen, but
Oh.
There's a slide and a taunt. Huh. I mean, they just probably don't have a very good graphic for the boosts, because they did not really upgrade the graphics for this.
Oh, really? That's a little disappointing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's $15, so...
Well, yeah.
They're not going to put in, like, a huge amount of effort into a $15.
Well, yeah. I know. It's still nice, though, when they, like, do, like, a full upgrade of the graphics.
Yeah, like, the Bandicoot games, you got, what was it, 3 games for $30?
Yeah, it was something like
and
that.
they were all fully upgraded. But of course, then they had Bandicoot Racing, and it was only one game, and it was $30 too. So,
Right.
of course, I'm sure across all three games they could reuse most of the assets for the most part. Like, there's only a couple unique assets, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
per level.
probably yeah.
But yeah, I did wish. I didn't even think they needed to like increase the polygons just to like give us higher resolution skin. What's the term? Higher resolution. No, like I don't remember, but the things that lay on top of the polygons.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll just say skins for the sake of the thought. But because like I mean, it's the same. Like a lot of the stuff they could just like have stolen it from the. I feel like they could have just stolen it from the movies. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, I really wish they'd given us a little bit of higher resolution on some stuff, especially like some of the backgrounds when you're in the menus. They'll be like pixels, like there'll be like 100 pixels an entire wall, and it'll be like, ooh, that's rough. That looks like I'm playing Minecraft right now.
Yeah, that's not great.
Minecraft might actually be higher resolution. Yeah, that was what I was getting into with that.
Nice.
And I wanna prep you with an idea I had.
Ooh, okay.
And we can go back to this at the end. That's why I said I want to prep you. So I was thinking it would be cool, especially since I just started playing a classic N64 game, that we would talk about memories and and I was thinking it would be like a segment called like memories and dice and pixels, and talking about like role-playing game memories, board game memories, and or video game memories kind of deal.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, so think of a story you might want to share from your childhood to young adulthood to maybe even last week.
Yeah, right.
And let's go ahead without further ado and get into the movie of the week, which is...
Oh, yeah, School Spirit.
School Spirit, that's right. And this is from Season 1, Episode 11.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like that was November... wait, no, it was August. Okay, that makes sense now. What? That's weird. Oh, okay. Because the season started in October, so the final episode would have been in September.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense now. I was like, oh, that's weird. But I was like, it wouldn't have made sense if it wasn't in August, because August is like back to school.
Oh, yeah, right.
Which is what this movie was about. So first off, let's get our impressions before we get into spoilers. What were your impressions of this movie?
Honestly, I thought it was a little predictable, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I kind of knew from the beginning, like, oh, that person's gonna be the villain kind of deal, and oh, he was the villain.
And also, I felt like I'd seen it before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Had you actually seen it before, or it just felt that memorable, or that repeated? I guess.
Yeah, I feel like it's just that repeated it was that cliche.
Yeah, the cliche.
Basically.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I have to admit, though, like, and without spoiling it yet, there was kind of a cool little twist at the end that was kind of unexpected and kind of cool to see.
Yeah. So, I guess the synopsis of this would be Breakfast Club meets
Slasher film.
Yeah, if Breakfast Club was a slasher film, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're now in full-fledged spoiler territory.
Mm-hmm.
The movie starts out with two guys breaking into the school so they can set up a GoPro in the girls' locker room.
Right, and they insist that, it's just gonna he's not gonna watch them get naked. It's only gonna freak him out or something, which is just gross.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not being a creep, he kept saying, but obviously he was being a creep.
Yeah, if you gotta repeat it that many times.
Yeah,
a creep.
And also, you're setting up, he said, all the girls in the school are ugly, and I'm like, no teenage boy has ever said that.
Right.
That was, unless they're into boys, I guess.
Oh, well, yeah, okay. That's fair.
Or asexual, maybe. I don't know.
Although I feel like a boy would probably not be setting up a GoPro or a gay boy would not be setting up a GoPro in the female locker room.
Probably not. So, they both get murdered by do they show the
No, I think you just see a murder go down, but you don't see what entity do it. But I feel like it feels like it was real, it feels almost like it was something supernatural or powerful, at least, because, you see them, I think something they just get, destroyed, easily, it seems like.
Well, yeah, the one, is walking around the girls' locker room, and he goes around a corner, and then you don't hear from him again. And so the other goes looking for him and finds him with an ice pick in his eye.
Yeah, or the equivalent of an ice pick.
And then he starts looking around all scared, and then right behind him something comes up and slashes his throat or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And of course those kids don't matter.
No, they're nobodies.
Because they're dead. But it's to set up that something in the school is killing children. Ooh.
Yeah. Spooky. Slasher spooky.
And so then we go to Annie Q, or Erica is the character's name, and she's doing the welcome back to school senior year prep speech.
Yeah, she's clearly the valedictorian or whatever the equivalent in this movie was.
I think they even said valedictorian.
Oh, did they?
She was class president for sure.
Yeah. Top of the class, best student in the whole school.
Yeah, she was the class president, and they kept pointing out that she had the highest GPA in the school.
Yeah. She was Harvard bound. I think they mentioned that a couple times.
Mm-hmm. And so they have her that she's trying to get to. She's getting put into Saturday. What's it called? Detention. Yeah, I never had it. Sorry, I don't know what detention is.
Okay, well, same here. So
I don't know. It sounds like you might have had it.
I don't know if our school actually even did detention, honestly. Which I feel
I'm sure
might be
they
a weird
did.
thing to say, but
I don't think they did Saturday detention.
Yeah.
I've never heard of anyone getting Saturday detention when I was in high school.
No, could you imagine? Parents are gonna deal with that.
Exactly, but they love doing it in movies.
Yeah, that's true.
But of course, maybe they did do that more back in the 80s when there was more stay-at-home moms and stuff.
Oh, maybe, but this movie was definitely not in the 80s.
Yeah, but it was totally a ripoff of The Breakfast Club.
Well, that's true.
It even says in the thing, a group of social outcasts stuck in weekend detention is confronted by the school's legendary hauntings.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so they're outcasts.
Yeah. Except that, I guess in her own way, she was an outcast too.
Who, Erica?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was the whole theme of The Breakfast Club. Even the most popular kid who was in detention was also an outcast.
But the thing
in her own way.
The thing that kind of bugged me a little bit is so in her speech she said something along the lines of like, "Ooh, I should have had more fun," kind of deal, like.
Uh-huh.
And it was like she's dating like who you would presume would be like the star athlete of the basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's just like I feel like there's no way that you didn't go to some kind of like high school function stuff when you're dating somebody that's like that high profile
Mm-hmm.
in high school, especially like you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Not,
I mean,
not saying that she necessarily was like out having ragers or something, but it's like you definitely probably did.
Well, she even
fun high school stuff.
Not to spoil the ending, but she admits at one point to having sex with I think it was Jason.
Yeah.
Jason 27 times and
Which I
giving
thought was
two.
odd that she felt the need to say exactly how many times.
Yeah, and gave two different dudes blowjobs. I think she said.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah. And
well, yeah.
like,
So to go full end of the movie spoiler too. I mean,
yeah.
she essentially at the very end says like she's not this perfect person that she has painted herself as to the whole school. One thing I found a little irritating though, is like, so she mentions like how hard her parents are, and she even says at one point like, it's life or death for me or whatever. But they never like we never saw any kind of resolution to that or like explanation for that to see if like because it almost sounded like it was like literal, like her parents will literally kill her, like, and that's almost the tone the movie was trying to paint. It felt like, and then it was just like I don't know. I felt like that was unresolved as much as or I wanted it more resolved, I guess.
Yeah, I mean they did mention that her parents wouldn't let her eat dinner until like she was like done with all of her extra schoolwork and homework and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, yeah, that's a little messed up. Like that she can't even eat food at home, but it's not life or death sounding. But maybe, but of course, maybe it is. I don't know. It's kind of also stereotypical. Oh, she's Asian, so she's got terrible parents who want her to succeed at all costs.
Right. That was a little stereotypical.
Yeah, but you've got, let's see, we had Russ, Vic, Lizzie, and Brett all in detention with Erica.
Mm-hmm.
And we had Mr. Armstrong being the asshole teacher, which is funny because it was played by Hugo Armstrong. So they did a big stretch to get his name there.
Yeah, really.
So yeah, Hugo Armstrong's big butthole, and he gets into it. I mean, it's trying to. I think maybe that's why I felt like I saw the film before, is because it's like blow for blow, trying to just rip off the
Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club, because Mr. Armstrong gets in a yelling match with Vic, who's the bad boy.
Oh, yeah.
And then Vic ends up getting like 2 extra weeks of detention, or 6 extra weeks or whatever. He's like, "Do you want to make it 8?" Yeah, so it was like big rip off of Breakfast Club, and he's like, "I'm gonna make you do all this work," and then Brett's like, "You can't make us do work," because Brett's like the nerdy kid who was in the Breakfast Club, and so then like it does all this stuff, and then like Russ and Lizzie are like the stoner kids, and they're like, "Let's get booze and get drunk," and Erica's like, "Hee okay," and and so
peer pressure.
Yeah, and so then they like, and the whole time Brett's like, "No, don't do it. That's bad. We should obey the teachers. We should be good kids." And then, so they do all this stuff, and of course they all split up in order to trick Mr. Armstrong out of his office so they could steal his booze.
Because he's a raging alcoholic.
Yeah, because he's a raging alcoholic. Russ sneaks into the office, he grabs the booze, and he goes into, like, the science room for some reason.
Yeah, I was a little confused about why he decided to go back to the room.
Yeah, but anyway, while he's in that room, he gets decapitated, as you do.
In a pretty awesome way, too. It was like the old school, like, paper slicer.
Uh-huh. Except they didn't show it.
No, they just showed like the aftermath kind of
A
deal.
little low budge on the gore in this movie for sure.
I mean, we did see his head roll though.
Yeah. We only had a good like gory shot when Lizzie eats it. I felt like.
Yeah.
Because she got an axe to the face, with I thought was a pretty good special effect.
It was, but the fact that she practically stood there and begged to be hit in the face with it.
Oh yeah.
Like, move, dodge to the left or right.
Oh yeah, no. Well, they couldn't because it was like a putty stand-in or something. I don't know what they did to for that effect.
Oh
yeah.
well, right.
She did not dodge in the slightest.
But like he was coming kind of slow.
He was. But the effect was still cool. Okay.
It was. I did enjoy it.
Yeah. But so Russ is the first to eat it. The big stoner kid. And everyone thinks he just ditched, and Lizzie's like, "No, he wouldn't ditch with me here." And Lizzie, of course, her mom's a raging alcoholic, and she doesn't want to be home, and everyone's alcoholic, so she likes pot, and so they all smoke her vape that has weed in it, and of course, the vape smells like weed, so they can do this next scene when Mr. Armstrong comes in. And they spill bleach all over the floor, and they're like, and he's like, "What's that smell?" And they're like, "I don't know, Mr. Armstrong, smells like bleach." He's like, "Have you been smoking in here?" And then Brett's, and of course Brett didn't smoke, but Brett's trying to show off for Erica, so he's like, Mr. Armstrong, all I smell is bleach, and is that alcohol? And then Mr. Armstrong's like, "Will you kids get back to cleaning and get a mop and bucket for this bleach?" And so then they go after a mop and bucket, and Erica and Brett go together, and they're like chatting it up. They're like, "Ooh, hey," and he's like, "Hey," but then Jason shows up and he ruins it, and he whisks Erica away, and Brett looks real mad.
But you know what else was stupid? So there's a couple things with all of that too. The whole time, Erica's like, "Oh my god, I'm so high," which is exactly what people who haven't actually smoked pot say. Or like, you know, it's like the classic like, "Oh, okay, well that was oregano, not pot, so you're not high."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
And then he was so mad. He's like, "You got my girl high? You got high with this guy?" It's like,
oh yeah, that was
so
really
fucking
funny.
Unrealistic. Like again, like not saying that every popular kid did it, but like the popular kid was probably also smoking pot.
Oh yeah, that was so funny. He's like, "You got my girlfriend high," and so then, for some reason, this is like, real like boner fuel for Jason, and so like they go off in a room, and she's like, "Even though we broke up and I didn't call you, or even though I ghosted you all summer, I checked your Instagram or your social every 5 minutes." And I was like, "Oh, that's fucking creepy."
Yeah. Oh, gross. Yeah.
And of course Jason's like, "Oh yeah, babe." She's like, "Yeah."
Oh, you into me?
And then she's like, and then they start making out, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get laid." And then she's like, "I need food right now." And so she goes off.
And then he had his fucking shirt off. Like,
and then he starts like pelvic thrusting into the desks to practice like
stretching,
boning her,
which I thought was hilarious too. Cause, again,
it was pretty funny. It was very over the top.
Yeah.
And of course, who dies next?
The sinful wanting to have sex teenager, just like the classic horror movie trope says. Dictates.
Yeah. So Jason gets off next, and Erica comes in the room, and she's like, Jason,
you're not turning me on right now."
Yeah, this isn't turning me on. And then she leaves, and then Brett shows up with the mop and bucket, and Lizzie's like, "Ugh, I couldn't stand the smell, so I cleaned it up with paper towels." And he's like, "Oh, where's Eric?" And then they're like, "Where's Erica?" And he's like, "I thought she's doing her own thing," or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they're getting worried about Russ, and Vic's off doing something. I don't remember what Vic was doing. I don't know. Oh no, is this when Brett and Vic kind of get into it?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Because Brett's just like, everyone, we just need to start following the rules.
Yeah.
He keeps talking about how we need to follow the rules.
Well, then that's another thing too. They mentioned oh, he just acts like this because of his own stuff. But they never told us what that own stuff was.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then of course Mr. Armstrong is checking his email, and he sees the detention list, and then he gets up and he's all upset, and then he's like, Brett, I need to talk to you. And he takes Brett aside, and then they don't come back, and then all the girls go out to see what happened to Brett, and what happened to Vic, and what happened to Russ, and what happened to Jason, and so Lizzie and Erica are looking, and they see a blood trail across the floor at the bottom of the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Vic was trying to leave to get something out of his car because he didn't want to be locked in. That's what he was doing. But he couldn't leave.
Also, that the kids find out, or at least the one girl does, that the whole reason that Erica is there is because she was cheating.
Yeah, so they go to Armstrong's office to look for the keys so they can get out and call the police because it's getting fucking crazy in here. And there's blood all over the ground. And don't ask me why they needed their phones to call the police and they couldn't use the school phone, but that's neither here nor there.
Didn't Lizzie pull the fire alarm? So where the hell was the fucking fire department?
They just took a really long time to get there, because there's EMTs and stuff at the end of the movie.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, EMTs do show up with firefighters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it even says Firefighter Fontaine, so he had a name, even though,
oh, yeah.
I never saw him.
Right.
And EMT Lopez had a name, too, even though he kind of just, didn't do or say anything. I guess he did have a line. I don't remember what he said, though. Anyway... so the girls are looking for their phones because they apparently can't use the school phone. And while they're doing this, like you said, Lizzie sees why Erica was in detention. And then Erica reveals that it's actually because she was trying to bribe Mr. Armstrong. Not because she cheated. Or she says that at some point. I don't remember when she says that. But that's the reason. Is she tried to bribe Mr. Armstrong, and he's actually a good teacher. He's just also a sloppy drunk and hates bad students.
Yeah.
And everything hits the fan. There's secret entrances and stuff, and the girls find it, but it freaks them the fuck out, so they leave. But then Vic goes in the secret entrance, and so Vic gets killed, and the girls hear him getting killed, and they're trying to help him, but they can't. And then they're trying to make a acid bomb thing.
Yeah, I was a little confused by that too.
Yeah, because science, I guess. And they completely fail at it because all they end up doing is throwing just straight acid on Brett. Because at this point they know Brett's the killer. And he's still wearing the mascot boots when he comes to the door, and they're all like, fucking Brett, and so Lizzie makes a run for the fire alarm like we said earlier, and she pulls it, and Brett's like, hey, how you like I got a question to ask you. And she's like, oh, what's your question? And just stands there while he axes her. He doesn't actually say that, but it would have been even funnier if he had.
Yeah.
Just because that's one of my favorite. I'm going to kill somebody with an axe pun.
Right.
Then, basically, Erica ends up getting caught because she falls in a hole, trying to get away from Brett, and she wakes up all tied up, and Brett has set up all the students that he killed that day and Mr. Armstrong in chairs.
Yeah, he even wrote detention on the board, which I thought was kind of funny.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's funny.
Yeah.
And then there's a skeleton sitting in the teacher's chair, and then he goes, "Oh, we forgot to tell the backstory of the ghost."
Oh yeah, they told some story where it was like there was this teacher that some students like put in the mascot, and like what was it, like they locked her in a locker or something, and she died or some shit like that. Like it was real like crazy.
No, they dumped water on her, and it gave her a heart attack somehow.
Oh right, okay.
And so then they put her in the mascot costume and hid her in the basement.
That was it. I remember something about being in the mascot uniform and being like, I don't know, it just felt so absurd.
Oh, it was real dumb. And then he's like, what they didn't tell you is she had a son. Bum, bum, bum.
Who was homeschooled for some reason.
Who was like, yeah, and he's like, and every day she would teach, she'd put me in this room. Because, like, apparently she was, like, super fucking psycho. And so, yeah, and she would tell him, like, he couldn't hang out with all the kids, other kids, because all kids were bad. Yeah. He goes into the thing about how him and his mom loved Erica because she was the...
she was the best student at that school ever.
Yeah, she was the best student at the school ever. Basically. And if she got into Harvard, somehow that would result in the school getting a lot more money. And the reason the school sucked dick was because all the students sucked and they got bad grades, and so the school didn't get funding.
Yeah.
And so basically he was crazy because students are bad at school.
Yeah. I mean, he was crazy because his mom kept him locked in a basement in a school.
Yeah. No, I know. I was just joking. But that was his logic behind... And
yeah.
And so apparently Brett had tried to get Lizzie and Russ and Vic to be good last year when he went, because he did another he did detention with them a previous year to try to get them to be good, and they didn't listen to him. And so they got what they deserved.
Kids can never learn, or some shit like that.
Yeah, some bad kids can never learn. And then Erica seduces him, and so he turns on some dance music. He's like, "My mom won't let me go to dances," and she's like, "But I'm a good girl."
I feel like it wasn't as much as like she seduced him, as much as like he was already seduced by her, so she pretty much just manipulated him, like. Like he was already seduced.
Yeah, but she definitely like added. She was definitely.
Oh well, yeah. She
some like breathy way. She was talking really breathy at him and stuff, you know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. For the one, he was kind of telling us too, in this whole sequence, like why he killed everybody essentially, and the reason he was going to kill her boyfriend was because he was going to take her virginity right there, and. I thought that was funny because in my mind, I was like, okay, dating the school app, like dating the basketball star, okay.
Yeah, while she was under the influence of drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he killed Russ because Russ was going to make her drink alcohol. I don't remember why he killed Vic.
I think he was just a bad kid.
Yeah.
It was essentially like the reasoning.
And he said, I normally don't kill faculty, but Mr. Armstrong made it impossible, and also this way no one will know that you tried to bribe him.
Yeah, I think that was the main thing, is that...
To protect Erica, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they start dancing, and she stabs him with the saber that he's been killing everybody with, because he just lays it on a desk right next to her. And then she like has to go into detail about how she cheats all the time, and she's given 2 blowjobs and had sex with Jason 27 times.
Yeah.
And she's like, I ain't no angel, blah blah blah. I'm bad.
I'm not even a virgin.
Yeah.
Fucking got him.
Yeah. And this is what would have fixed the movie for me. Are you ready?
Yeah.
If he hadn't killed anyone except Lizzie, and it had been his mom was an actual ghost, and like just fucking stabbed Erica in the back, was like, you killed my son.
Oh yeah, shit. or done like a whole like, which Friday, or was it the first Friday the 13th where it turns out it was Jason's mom the whole time?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. But they didn't do that. She was just a skeleton, and so Erica runs out and she tells all the EMTs like what happened to her. But she said she was there doing community service, not detention. Yeah. And then lastly, she does like another like school address thing and talks about
like a interview, like a news interview.
Oh yeah, it was a news interview. Yeah, sorry. She does a news interview and she's like, and this is when we realized that Erica's the actual bad guy in this, because she just turns it all into her Harvard application story.
Yeah, she's like, I guess I got a hell of a, or she doesn't say hell of a, but it's like, guess I got a great story essay, or whatever that she called it. I forget.
Yeah, it's like the application essay that they talk about in movies all the time.
Yeah.
That I don't think anybody actually reads in real life. It's just really like, do you have a... Like, they always make it out to be a big deal in movies and TV shows. Of course, I didn't try to go to, like, an Ivy League school, so I don't know. But I feel like they're all just, like, numbers. Like, that's what it actually is. Like,
right.
They have a certain percentage of poor people they have to let in, a certain percentage of minorities they have to let in, and then the rest are just rich people,
Yeah, right. But yeah, so she got away with being evil, kind of, but not really. I mean,
yeah, no, she wasn't really the bad guy. I was just joking.
No, I mean, I guess she was like not the good student. That she was two-faced, maybe, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she deserved to be murdered by a school spirit.
Unlike in the Breakfast Club, where you find out everybody's just kind of like good in their own way.
Yeah.
Like, Erica was the only character who seemed like she was kind of good the whole time. And then it turns out that she's not good. Whereas, like, Lizzie was actually, like, a good student, kind of, like, in her own way. She just had a lot of family problems. And
that was pretty much everybody else. Like, everybody had family issues.
Yeah,
I guess she did, too.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was kind of, I don't know. I kind of got the like impression that like all the bad kids weren't as bad as Erica.
No, right. That's definitely I think the way that they're trying to go for.
Because like Vic had his life already planned out. He was going to be a firefighter and stuff like that. Well, I guess
other than Brett too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Brett was a bad kid. I didn't like how like Mr. Armstrong was like so horny on Brett at the beginning, because like. It kind of, I felt like, I know the reason they did it is because they wanted to try to, like, make you go, oh, maybe Brett isn't the killer.
Yeah.
But then, like, I don't know. It's just.
At what point did you feel like Brett was the killer? Do you remember?
Almost as soon as they introduced him, really.
Yeah, like, I don't remember a specific moment, but at one point I was definitely like, oh, that kid's definitely the one who is doing the big murders.
Yeah, probably about the time that they made it, like, abundantly clear that he was in love with Erica.
Yeah, when he was, I think that was when it was that for me, too.
Which is, like, 2, maybe 3 minutes into the actual like story, not the like the prelude where the kids get killed.
Yeah,
because it's like just
I always wanted to meet you. Like,
oh yeah,
oh okay, to murder her.
Yeah, no, to murder everyone around her.
Well,
because she has to get into Harvard so that the school can get more funding. Even though I'm pretty sure a school that has like 12 students disappear is probably just going to get shut the fuck down.
Yeah, right. There's definitely going to be some kind of investigation there.
Yeah.
And I also feel like fuck Harvard. You know, like, there are other schools that you can go to that would be just as prestigious.
Well, I think the main reason she chose Harvard is no one from that school had gone to Harvard, so maybe they had gone to, like, some of the other Ivy League schools.
Yeah.
You know?
And that was just the one where she can be like, I'm the first one to go to Harvard.
Yeah. I just feel like a lot of these Ivy schools often have these, like, big chips on their shoulders kind of deal. Like, but it's like, listen, you can pay $100,000 to become a nurse there, or you can go to, like, community college and not even spend a fourth of the price and still become a nurse. Or, so stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I would hope that not a lot of people are going to Harvard to be nurses. That'd be wild.
Well, I know they're like business is their thing, right? But I mean, I'm sure they have other stuff too.
Yeah, it's mostly business. In general. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. I knew what you meant. It's just like what? Don't go to Harvard for a fine arts degree.
Right. Yeah. Like, I'm sure if you go for business, it's good. And, like, if like, connections is what your, like, main goal for colleges, then sure, going to, like, Harvard is definitely a good choice. Like, any of those Ivy League schools, I'm sure will have plenty of opportunities for you to make connections.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So, we've talked about the whole movie now.
Yeah.
What's the best part of the movie to you?
Honestly, my favorite part was that twist ending where Erica is like, I'm not your angel. Like, that was such a good line, I thought, for this, like, for that scene and just, like, in general. Like, I really enjoyed that part, I think.
I think I would have liked it more had her delivery been better.
Well, yeah, and the whole, like, I had sex 27 times with that guy. That was, like,
that was
weird.
An awkward line. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I could have told you how many times I had sex if it was like, more than the first 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, it was 27 times. Exactly. I remember them all.
I definitely definitely wouldn't have kept count up to 27. That's for certain.
Yeah, so it was definitely like an odd line and an odd delivery. But like, sans that, like, I really did enjoy, like, all of it kind of deal, like not all of it, but like that whole, like, part where, you get this kind of, like you were saying, like, with the Breakfast Club, like, you find out everyone's kind of good at the end in their own way, and her is, like, you find out she's kind of bad.
Yeah.
She's kind of a bad girl.
Oh, yeah, she's dirty.
What was your favorite part?
My favorite part, I don't know. It's got to be the axe to the face effect. That was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm all about the gore when it comes to horror movies. Like, I don't want to watch a horror, like, I don't know. Horror movies don't generally scare me, especially slasher horror movies.
Yeah.
There's nothing really scary to me about slasher movies. And so if it doesn't have, like, a lot of gore, then it's like, well, why am I even, like, watching this? Because the story is never that.
Oh, yeah. Especially as far as slasher movies go.
Yeah. And
I enjoy slasher movies just for, like, what they are. But they're always going to have that kind of, like, B-horror film to me. Like, that's just the nature of the slasher film, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if I ever see a slasher film that makes me think at the end, that'd be fucking buck wild.
Yeah, I think the closest that I can think of that kind of comes to it, and it's not even really a slasher film necessarily, would be like the Saw movies, or at least the first one.
Yeah, the first one's pretty good.
It's not really a slasher film, but kinda.
Yeah, but it's got some good gore in it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the worst part of the movie?
God, the worst part of the movie. I would say just how predictable it kind of was. Like, again, like, I feel like you knew exactly what was going to happen pretty much from, like, the get-go, it felt like.
Yeah.
And then, again, like, I know they're children, so they're pretty new, or they're probably children, some of them at least. But sometimes some of their delivery was just so fucking awful.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked up Corey, and he was actually, like, 19 at the time of filming, so...
I was still pretty young as far as acting goes.
He was basically actually the age he was playing, you know?
Well, yeah, right.
Well, it came out in 2019, so he might have been 18 at the time of filming.
Oh, true, yeah.
I don't know how long the post-production on these is.
Yeah. What was your least favorite part?
Oh, man. I think I'm going to have to go with predictability, too. It was just like, beat for beat, I knew what was going to happen the whole movie, basically.
Right.
Nothing was surprising other than, I guess, the fact that the woman in the story existed.
Right, yeah. I will say a close runner-up for me actually was when the one kid got decapitated, because even though you didn't see it, they did a good job at, like, you hear, like, the crunch and you see the blood splatter every time it comes down. So, like, you know, like, I'm fine with, like, not seeing the gore if you can kind of do it in, like, a creative, like, cool way. And I thought that was pretty well done for not actually showing us, like, the actual decapitation. And then you do see his head roll off at the end. So, like, you kind of see it.
Yeah. No, that was probably my second favorite kill of the movie. I don't even remember. How did Vic die?
So that was a weird one, because he had that fucking axe in his hand, and like, the dude's, like, walking down the hallway and just shanks him. Like, it's like...
Oh, yeah, he gets stabbed in the back while he's, while
like,
he's trying to climb through the hole. Yeah,
like,
I forgot.
You've got a fucking axe in your hand. Axe that dude.
Well, if you remember, Brett... when Vic and Brett are getting into it, Brett calls him out and he says he knows he's not brave.
Right, I know.
And so there's something, like I said, there's something in Vic's backstory. Maybe he let his parents, like, burn to death or something because he wouldn't go back in, and I don't know.
I don't know. They should have given us more backstory for that then.
They definitely should have told us why he wasn't brave or something. But
and also, he knocked down a door and then tried to climb through it. Like, reach your fucking hand in and grab the knob, dude.
Or hit it a couple more times if you can't. Yeah, or at the very least, like, throw the axe at the guy to slow him down. Like, I don't know. Like, don't just, then, like
he
get
got
stabbed
through
in the...
He got through that door pretty quick, so he must have had some strength to him. Like, getting through a door is not necessarily easy. Like, you know, that's solid wood that you're going through. So, like, turn around, like, swing the fucking axe at him.
Yeah, no, it was,
maybe that was my least favorite. Maybe that was my least favorite part, too.
Yeah, we hadn't even thought about that. That was pretty sad.
Like, you're in a fucking hallway. Turn around. Like, he can't get away from you. Yeah, he's got a sword, but you have an axe.
Yeah. Yeah, that was sad. That was very sad.
How many fat blunts do you give this?
Fat blunts. Let's.
Or I guess they should be fat vape pens.
Yeah, fat vape pens. I think this might come off as mean, but I'm going to give it a 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, you didn't like it that much, huh?
Yeah, I struggled.
Okay. So I enjoyed it more than that. I'm gonna give it a 6.5. No, maybe a 5. A 5. A solid 5.
Okay.
Because
middle of the road.
I think it was very, like, it had parts that were very enjoyable, and it had parts that needed work. So I think, like, if they had, like, fixed up some of the dialogue, maybe, maybe done a little bit more with the gore, maybe cut out some characters' backstory stuff, or put it in to make stuff make more sense, then I think it could easily get to, like, 7 or 8. Because all this stuff, it's like they mentioned, like, again, like, my parents will kill me, literally. They didn't let me eat. And it's like, I don't know, that doesn't seem like...
No. Yeah, I hear you.
Like, just don't mention even... I mean, go ahead and mention, like, they wouldn't let me eat, but the whole, like, it's life or death for me, that seemed like too much. That was too much. Too over the top.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I feel like there was some issues. Now...
on the other hand, too, like, if it's going to be a slasher film, I feel like you either have to do totally over the top or none at all over the top. And this movie couldn't seem to decide quite which way it wanted to go.
Yeah, because only like 2 people really got killed over the top.
Right. Yeah.
There was axe to the face, and there was
paper cutter
decapitation, and even axe to the face isn't that wild because that's like the weapon he had.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Whereas, like, you know, like a good slasher film, it's a lot of found object murders.
Yeah. Or it's like the same knife all the time.
Yeah. And so, like, yeah, it would have been nice if there had been more found object murders.
Yes. Or he should have just murdered everyone with that sword.
Or the saber was his only weapon, yeah, instead of just like 16 different random weapons.
Yeah.
Weren't found objects, they were actual weapons, but it just happened that the school is full of weapons.
Right.
Okay, so I want to move along here. We haven't really talked about current events much.
Oh, yeah.
And I just remember this while we were talking. Did you see that Jenny Slate left Big Mouth?
I didn't. Really?
Yeah, that just happened today. So she...
Whoa!
Yeah, today's the 24th of June. So yeah,
yes.
She apologized for voicing a black character. And left Big Mouth and resigned from Big Mouth.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So we're seeing a lot of changes. I saw the other day that that Tina Fey wants all the episodes of 30 Rock that included blackface, which I didn't even know there were any. But
I didn't know that either.
I haven't really watched much 30 Rock, but she wants all those removed from the show, basically.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to hear that, because I feel like 30 Rock is not that old of a show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't... Honestly, regretfully, blackface hasn't been a big deal for that long. You know, it's been used as a comedic trope for up until very recently.
Well, yeah. I mean, but I think, it probably has been an issue. It just it never had, like, the traction to make it to the forefront.
Yeah, like a known issue, I should have said, yeah.
Yeah. Although, you know what? The Robert Downey Jr. role was pretty good.
Yeah.
That one's, like, tricky because it was, like, technically it was blackface, but he was also he was being a character who was like it was like a mocking of the character actors.
Yeah, that one's a real well, like I said, none of this is ours to choose what's offensive and what's not offensive.
Of course not. No,
and even then you're going to have like probably 99% of people aren't offended by it. And then there's going to be, I shouldn't say 99%, but there's, by and large, the majority of people won't be offended. Mm-hmm. And that's up to, that's up to the companies, and that's up to whoever makes these kind of decisions on what percentage of offending people they're willing to
deal with.
allow. And so, that's neither here nor there. You get a lot of back and forth in comedy, and comedians talking about comedy. I always have there'll be comedians who make points about how pushing the envelope is the point of comedy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And then a lot of the times, when someone says something and you're like, oh, that's not pushing the envelope. That's just bad.
Yeah. Like, on the one hand, I think, on one hand, there's a part of me that thinks, nothing should be taboo for comedy, because if you can joke about it, that means you can talk about it. And, talking about these issues is how problems get solved. But then I feel like you do have those comedians who, they just say stuff not because they care about getting this topic talked about or whatever. They just know,
Mm-hmm.
like, if I say this crazy radical thing, I'm going to get a lot of clicks, a lot of views, a lot of whatever, you know.
Exactly. Well, and I mean, a lot, and then there's also how much of this is a joke and how much of this is your opinion. So, for an example,
Right, yeah.
There was this comedian on Netflix Liz and I watched. I don't remember his name right now. And he wasn't really all that funny, and he complained a lot about, and he did a whole monologue about what we just talked about, and I was like, well, he's not really that funny, but he's got a point. And then it just came out that he's like groomed underage women.
Ooh.
Like 4 of them.
Oh no! Gross.
And it's just like, oh, so you are just a dirtbag.
Oh yeah, gross.
And so it's like, and so how much of his point was just trying to defend himself because he's a dirtbag, and how much of his point was valid? And it's like one of those situations where, oh wow, you kind of convinced me, and now I'm like completely questioning.
Yeah. You know what sucks about that too? And not just him, but anybody really. You could make a bunch of good points, but as soon as you do something like that, like any good thing you said has been forgotten, you know? Or,
Yeah.
Like, and not saying, you know, that we should support those people even when they say bad shit, but it's just like, I don't know, it just sucks when you think someone's like, oh, this person has good morals, they have good ideals, he's got good ideas, and then it turns out, oh, no, wait, he's actually a shitbag.
Well, it's like, let's talk about, historically speaking, like, Germany was going completely broke because of sanctions and everything that had been placed on them. And Hitler completely rejuvenated the economy,
Right.
But in the process, he was also trying to kill off all
entire race of people. I mean, not just that. He's trying to kill like a lot of people.
Yeah,
in
like
general.
anybody that didn't quite fit in, basically, especially
Right.
Jews, but also
Jews,
homosexuals.
gays, gypsies.
He even didn't like black people that much. So I don't know how much they were targeted, but I know to some extent they did get put in concentration camps.
Right.
It was basically just anybody who didn't fit into his
German ideal or whatever.
Yeah, into his accepted ideology, and so like, you got to look at the intentions behind the good points.
Yeah.
Because
right, yeah. Like
Hitler didn't fix the German economy for Germany; he fixed the German economy for these select group of people that he liked.
Yeah, right.
And then, of course, he did end up running the economy into the ground as he pushed forward in a war that was just unwinnable. But that's beside the point.
Right.
Adolf Hitler is a monster, and I'm not defending Adolf Hitler in any way, shape, or form.
No, he's a total piece of shit. We can both agree on that. Well, no disagreements here.
Yeah, I was just literally making a point in that some people can do good things for bad reasons, and even though that good thing happened, the bad reasons way outweigh how good the good thing was.
Or kind of at the same vein, do good things, but then also do really, really shitty things.
No. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to
Tales of Dice and Pixels.
Yeah.
So. Did you think about your story?
I'm still coming up with one.
Alright. So I'm going to go to what was my favorite era of first-person shooters, which was N64.
Okay.
And it was, of course, we got GoldenEye.
Hell yeah.
We got Perfect Dark.
Uh-huh.
And then we got, I think it was Quantum of Solace? No. No, Quantum of Solace is one of the newer ones. I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember either.
But it was one of the 007 games.
Damn, GoldenEye was perfect at the time.
I wouldn't go as far as perfect.
I mean, at the time, we thought it was.
Yeah, because I liked the 007 game that came out after that one a little bit better because they added in grappling hooks.
Oh, nice.
And so me and my brothers and my friends, we would put, I think we'd put it at like 200% speed, half gravity, golden gun, and we would have these crazy zip line battles where we're flying through the air and we're trying to headshot each other. I think we even had big heads on so that we'd have these big balloon heads.
Uh-huh.
And it was that was fun. That was so much fun.
The World Is Not Enough, I believe, is the.
Yeah, I think that was the one. And so we played that. We played that forever. But Perfect Dark was the one that actually like broke. And I might have mentioned this before, but Perfect Dark was the one that broke the expansion pack in my brother's N64 because we have an off-brand one.
Oh no!
And so yeah, with that off-brand expansion pack, it literally just started smoking one day while we were playing Perfect Dark for probably I don't know 6 hours straight.
Uh-huh.
And Perfect Dark was amazing because you could do paintball mode and also
you could do that in GoldenEye too.
Yeah, you could have
paintball mode, DK mode.
Yeah. And you could have as many bots as you wanted.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, I don't know if it wasn't as many as you wanted, but you could have a bunch of bots. So we'd have a bunch of bots, and we'd be on teams, and we'd be like using the I don't remember what the gun was called, but it had an X-ray scope, and you could shoot through walls with it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the far scope or something like that. I don't remember what it was called. Something far. And,
that's funny.
Yeah, it was just wild. We had some crazy matches, and we just played all the time. And it was and just that whole era. Because I remember playing on like playing Time Splitters around that same time.
Oh,
It was a couple years later, but it was just I don't know. That was when I really liked first person shooters. There's a lot of fun ones, and then I don't know. I never liked the military style first person shooters very much.
Oh, okay.
And of course,
the Rainbow Siege games or the Rainbow games?
It started with CS:GO. I feel like, or no, just Counter Strike. I mean, it started kind of with Counter Strike, where once Counter Strike got really popular, like everything was Call of Duty this and Modern Warfare that and Battlefield, and none of them were like my style of shooter. They weren't that over the top wild weapons that did crazy things and had multiple cool functions. Like the grinder was one of my favorite weapons to use in Perfect Dark, which was it was like a Gatling gun where it had a heat up period. Or you could use it as a melee weapon where it was basically like a chainsaw.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
Yeah. And so yeah, I really liked that era of first person shooters. I feel like all the military shooters kind of like drowned out those kind of games because Halo kind of filled that a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But I think Halo kind of like did a similar thing to what the military ones did, and it just drowned out anything that could potentially come out that was unique and crazy. Because even Halo kind of, once it built its formula, it didn't really get much crazier. They didn't, you know what I mean?
No, they really didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gameplay was pretty much the same all throughout them, with some minor tweaks here and there. But for the most part.
Halo 2, Halo 2 added dual wielding.
Right.
And yeah, so they just added a little bit here and there, but they never really changed the formula much.
Right.
All right, so I've given you plenty of time.
Yeah.
You got a story for me?
I do. Yeah, I thought of a good one. So this was back when Grand Theft Auto 3 came out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so a friend of mine. So this is to really date myself, maybe. This was back at a time where on PlayStation 1 you had to have memory cards to save your games if you wanted to continue playing them. Well, so I was at my friend's house who had GTA 3, but he didn't have a memory card. So we ended up just leaving his PlayStation on like all the time, and I'm pretty sure we left it on for like 3 days.
Oh my god.
while playing Grand Theft Auto 3.
Oh no.
Yes. So luckily, like it didn't like fry, which I have to say, like the PlayStation has always been I feel like a fairly sturdy machine where like you could leave it run for a pretty long time without like overheating or like worrying about that too much. It seems like because again, like we left that PlayStation on for 3 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't even remember how far we got. Like obviously we didn't beat it. I don't think. I think that game would have required more than 3 days, but I just remember like not being able to save it, so we would just like pause it and like leave to do whatever, and then come back with it left on. Yeah,
I can't believe you guys didn't have a memory card. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, I don't remember why we didn't have one. If he just didn't have one, or if like the one he had was full, maybe. I don't remember why, but that was pretty fantastic. I remember that. God, that was funny.
Yeah, that reminds me of one of my friends, Justin. I don't think he listens to this, but he. Do you remember the first Dead Rising game?
Yeah, I do.
So you know how it always had that that like timer on the screen?
Yeah.
He played Dead Rising so long, and this was, of course, back in the plasma TV days, that he completely burnt that into the screen, timer into the screen on the plasma TV.
Yeah, I remember people like complaining about there was like a serious worry about that because it was happening a lot.
Yeah,
especially on games where like different HUDs like didn't go away.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
like,
when the HUD was pretty much there all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, so like a lot of games started implementing because of that. I think like these options to like you could remove HUD or whatever, or you can make it disappear. I think there were at least a couple games that did that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was you got a twofer from me this time.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah. All right. Why don't you guys go ahead and email us at imaginaryramblings@gmail.com. Hit us up on Twitter at podcastir. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Imaginary Ramblings. And if you want to support the podcast, you can buy our shirts on TeePublic. The link to our store is in the show notes.
Nice.
And with all that said, all I have left to say is bye-bye.
Bye.